Coming up is part 1 of a tutorial where we'll be assembling this cardstock journal folio and using Stamperia's Voyages Fantastique to decorate. I hope you'll join me. Hello, it's Jean from the Inky Owl Studio, and like the intro said, today's going to be part 1 of a tutorial on assembling this really cute folio that looks like a file folder folio, but actually it is made from cardstock. And I'll be showing you how I decorate this with Stamperia's Voyages Fantastique pad, an 8 by 8 inch pad. So let's get started with the bones of this project. I'm going to put down here the supply list, and I'm hoping that this will focus for you. Kind of wondering why it's not focusing very well. Perhaps you can pause right here and you can copy and write down what the supplies are. I tried to include all that I could think of. So those are what you'll be needing. Now your 8, you'll need to take 6 of those 8.5 by 11 cardstock sheets. And I've chosen the cream shade because I want it to resemble a file folder, but you can, really use any color. And you're going to cut them 8.25 by 8.5. So the sheet already comes to you 8.5 this way. So you'll be laying it in your cutter and cutting it 8.25, along this way. So that's for 6 of them, not all 8. All right, and so once you've done that, you're going to get your scoreboard out, or however it is you like to put creases in, and we're going to lay the 8.5 up against the top, and that's really important. So you'll want to lay the 8.5 up on the top, and then we're just going to make a score line down the center, which is at 4.25. All right, and that's what you'll be doing to 6 of them. Now, the 2 remaining sheets, we're going to be cutting 8.75 by 8.25. So you'll need to trim all around it. So you'll lay your 8.75 here up on top, and your 8.25 will be, of course, on this side. Now we're going to score it in 2 different places. We're going to score it at 4.25, and we're going to score it at 4.5. And so what we've done essentially is we have formed a little spine. And so we'll just fold this over gently. And now we have 4.25 inch spine. So 2 of these sheets will have a spine on them. So let me do the second one here really fast. Now it's important to separate your spines from your no spines when you start assembling, so you don't assemble them out of order. All right, now we're going to start gluing these together. Now you can distress it now, but I usually put distress ink on it after I'm finished. I'm going to be using Fabri-Tac for my glue. And, you definitely don't want to use a glue stick, because that will not work for this project. But you can use a white glue, your favorite white glue, whatever it is. I'm using Fabri-Tac because it gives me a little wiggle room. When I put these together, I can kind of wiggle it around and get it lined up well. But you're welcome to use whatever is your favorite holding glue is. Eileen has a really good white glue out as well. So anyways, you can distress all these before you start gluing, but I am going to do it afterwards because then I'll know what sides really need to be distressed and not. So we're going to put our two spines kind of off to the side so that we don't grab them by mistake. We're going to start with one of the no spine sheets, and we're going to take another no spine sheet, and what we're going to be doing is gluing these two sides together. And I'm going to do it in such a way to form a side entry pocket. So I'm just going to run glue here at the top, along the side, and on the bottom, just like that. Whoops. Don't know why my Fabri-Tac is so stringy today. It's like gluing with spider webs. All right. And we're going to put these two together, like so. Now, I try, you know, it's nice when the two sides meet up, but that's not quite as important, really. Kind of want that spine to be pretty even. First two don't really have a problem with that. But all right, so you've got those two. Now we're going to take a spine. I'm going to take a spine. So we've got like a no spine, and now we've got one with a spine. But the difference here, and a very important difference, is we're going to have a top loading pocket. Now, oh, well, it is okay. I was going to look for something to clean off this gummy glue. So the top loading pocket, we're just going to glue right down here on the side and across the bottom and up this side, just like so. All right, and now we're going to put this up, put this up on the table so that the spines are. Now I like that Fabri-Tac because it lets me move it around for a minute before it holds. So that's why the glitter glue can sometimes be your enemy when it comes to something that you have to kind of look at. So I'm looking over here, kind of looking, making the edges are even here and making the edges pretty even on the spine portion. All right, so that they're pretty even there. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you know, lined up. Now, it's possible too that these may end up being a little uneven and not meeting perfectly across. Like you can see the one sheet's a little taller than the other. Maybe you can't. But that's okay, because that could be corrected and everything. But fairly want this to be fairly flat here on the spine. So now that we've got a no spine, a no spine, a spine, we're going to get a no spine to go on the back of the one with a spine. Now you can make this a side entry pocket or a top pocket. I am making a second top pocket for variety's sake, I guess. I'll show you in a minute what the difference looks like when you get done. And let me just, looks like I've been drinking. I don't have a straight line there, does it? Okay, there we are. And I'll put this back on the table and kind of press it up like that. Make sure that it's pretty even there on the side. And like I say, you just want it to be as close as you can get it, don't stress over it. Usually just when you kind of do this, it pretty much moves it all in place. So, all right. So maybe I'll show you when we get done. I don't want to interrupt. So I'll repeat. We have a no spine, a no spine, a spine, a no spine, and another no spine. So you kind of see a pattern in here forming. Now this one will be a side pocket, like the other one, or like the one in the beginning. And just come down here. There's our side pocket. I'm gonna put this over here and line them up. Okay. Alright. So I'm trying to make sure. And, you know, just hitting it down there a little bit and kind of pressing in on the sides. You're going to get a pretty good alignment there. Sorry about that little interruption. So now we're going to grab our spine. Our last little spine guy. And this, of course, again, we have to put in a top loading pocket. So at least one pocket that's attached to your spine has to be top loading. And you'll find out why later. Okay. And we'll put these two together. So I do like having the fabric tack so I can move this around a little bit if I have to get everything pretty even. Okay. And then we're going to follow this up with a nose spine, and I'm going to make this top loader as well. And then we'll be finished with this one and one more sheet. And then we'll review again what we just got done doing. All right. And then our last no spine sheet will be, for me anyways, a side pocket like this. I did have enough over there on that end. Okay. Put that up there to meet. That looks good there. All right. So all the pieces have been glued together. So let's review the order again. It essentially is 2 no spines followed by one with a spine, 2 more no spines followed by a spine, and then 2 no spines at the end. So you have no spine, side pocket, no spine, top pocket, spine, top pocket, no spine, side pocket, no spine, top pocket, spine, top pocket, no spine, side pocket, and the last no spine. So that is your the bones of your file folder. Now you're going to need fabric to put down the spine because we need to reinforce it. Now the strength of the cardstock folio, since we're not using the file folder, the strength comes by doubling these up. But now we have to make sure that we kind of strengthen the this looks like it needs to be glued a little bit more, maybe. We need to strengthen all of these things that have been glued together. And you're going to need a strip of cloth that's approximately, I cut off, you know, I measured up here, and I might cut it a tad longer than I need just to always have a little extra. I think that ends up being, let's see, I think I put on there 9 inches, but yeah, it might be 8 3/4, something like that. And it's about 2 1/4 inches wide, you know, approximately that. Now you can just use plain muslin, like so. You don't have to use any kind of fabric. Plain muslin would look just as nice. It's cheap, easy to get. I just happen to be using the printed Tim Holtz fabric. And now we're going to take our glue And this probably would work the best with Fabri-Tac, but we want to put a heavy, good amount of glue here along the spine. Kind of get inside these grooves where everything is together. We do not want to be shy with our glue. I suppose you could overglue it, but you get what I mean. Okay, so that's a pretty generous amount. I'm going to lay the middle of the fabric over the spine. Like that. And we're just going to I'll just put it in there. Press down on it nicely. I'll let it soak inside there. Now at this point, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want this whole thing to dry quite nicely. So, you know, I probably will set this aside for about an hour just so it sets really well. And then after that, I'm going to ink the pages. All right, and then we'll go from there. All right, I have distressed the edges and it has dried nicely. So now I'm going to glue the sides down over the back and front. You need to decide if you want the fabric to be underneath your design paper, which is what I've done here. So you'll want to do that first, but if you prefer the fabric to be over the design paper, you'll want to wait on that until we get to working on the front. So that is entirely up to you. I am using glitter glue for this. Yeah, I know, I switched it up on you, didn't I, after talking to you about Fabri-Tac. I like to use glitter glue for pieces of fabric that might bleed through, but you know, really it didn't bleed through bad at all here where the Fabri-Tac did it. So yeah, this way too, if some of the glue goes past the fabric, which you want to get pretty close to the fabric, if it goes past it, it won't leave something super shiny on it. So there we go. So now all of this has been glued down, and it's all done. And then you can trim off the excess if you want. With the scissors, you can trim that off if you care to. Probably should have trimmed that off before I glued it down, but it's okay. It still would trim off pretty nicely. There we go. All right. So there we have completed the bones of our journal. So the next time we get together, we're going to work on the cover and decorate it. You'll need, it's in the supply list, but you're going to need some chipboard, or you can also use cardboard from like a cereal box or a food box or something of that nature. You can also use that, but you'll be needing that the next time we come around. So thanks a lot for watching, and please subscribe so you can see part 2 and possibly part 3. Talk to you later. Bye.